Okay, so we're on recording, but one thing I want to kind of reiterate there was, Cheryl has been told that her book was only worth $10, can't sell it for more than that. That is from market feedback from one particular market, and it might be true. It might be true for that market. Doesn't mean it's true for every market. Price, when you get into price, I've seen marketers sell things that are worth next to nothing for tens of thousands of dollars. It's like, tell me, is a Rolls Royce really worth 4 or 5 times as much as a BMW? It's just a car, right? It's how they position it. It's not made of gold. It's not magic. It's just positioned differently. So to say that your book can't sell for more than $10 is a flat out lie. It might be a truth for a particular market segment, but that's not your most profitable market segment.
Right.
And that's where strategy comes in. That's where the basis of ACT lives. It starts right there. Who's your most profitable market? And, I had also mentioned that several people in ACT, even though they don't have their funnels up yet, it's changing their businesses. Like Chris, for instance, he has taken to heart in his video business, only working with his ideal clients. And he is like doing backflips right now because he told me the other day, he says, I'm working less than I ever have and I'm making more than I ever have. And that's what it's all about. Just that one little shift is awesome. So just because they don't have their funnel done, the funnel is the automation part. That's like the golden goose at the end of the rainbow. I want you guys all to get there, but along the way, the journey, you're going to improve yourselves. Everything that you learn. It's like when you go through ACT, even if you haven't done a thing, you know now things you didn't know before. You can't unlearn that stuff. Yeah. You are a better person for it. You're a better business person for it. You're a better marketer for it, even if you're not using it. And you're much less likely to get taken on a product you don't need just by a good salesmanship. Because there is a lot of that out there. There is some tremendous salesmanship out in the market. And, I'm just as easily influenced as as you guys. I buy all kinds of shit and I get it and I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. Just last week, I think I talked about this on last week's call, but I'll just bring it up again. There's this video out and you guys should watch for it. It's a phenomenal marketing video, but it is total fraud. It's a guy in a limousine cruising around New York City, picking people up, giving them a ride. He looks for people that are looking for a cab, and he'll pull over and say, hey, can I offer you a free limo ride? And, they're fairly reluctant. They're like, I can't afford that. And he's like, well, you're perfect then. Hop in. And basically, he hands them a laptop as soon as they sit down, and he says, put your name and email address in here, and I'm going to show you how to make money. And by the time they get to their destination, it shows that they've made $100, $200, $300. And I'm like, all right, I got to see this, and then they're selling it for $47. I'm like, all right, I'll bite on that. What's the $47 thing that's going to make me $300 in 10 minutes, So I bought it, and first thing I get is an upsell for something, then another upsell. It was the most extensive line of upsells I think I've ever seen. I passed on all of them. I was just buying the $47 thing that's going to make me $300 in 10 minutes. Get to the end, and to get it, I have to call a coach. So now I call my coach. The coach signs me up for a free consultation. And you know what that is. That's the closer. So I signed up. I went through the thing. I'm doing exactly as it says because I want to see where this $300 is going to come from and how that's going to work. And anyway, I get the call from the coach, and he starts trying to sell me on a bunch of affiliate products. And the first thing he's trying to sell me on is ClickFunnels. And I'm like, now, I already have a ClickFunnels account, and I didn't sign up for this to get ClickFunnels. I signed up for this to put my name and email address in, like in the video, and make money on autopilot. I said, did I buy a hocus pocus? Is that not what this is? And he did like everything in the book to just derail that conversation and keep trying to sell me on this coaching program where basically I was going to, build my own funnel, and that's how I was going to make the money. And I'm like, well, what about the traffic? Where am I going to get the traffic? I see these people hopping in the limo, and 10, 15 minutes later, they've got $300 in their account. What's that all about? And then finally I told him, I go, do you even know who you're talking to? And I said, why don't you Google my name and see who you got on the line here? And when he did, he took a short pause and he says, I think we should just give you your money back. You're not our ideal client.
Which basically means you can't be bullshitted then, right?
Well, yeah, that's their ideal client, is somebody they can totally bullshit and just take to the cleaners and take for a ride. So there's a ton of that stuff out there. And like I said, the marketing is phenomenal. The marketing on that, watching the video, I mean, I could see anybody falling for that and buying into it. That's what I say. Good marketing is easy to come by. It's what they're marketing on the other side. That's where things fall a little short sometimes. But anyway, I don't know how I got onto that rant, but I just had to share that because it was really funny.
Well, it sounds to me like they had a good strategy to get people to pay the $49 and go.
Yeah, definitely. But that muddies up the whole water.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, if you bought that, you wouldn't even know to ask for a refund. You'd just keep doing what they were said to do, and they're going to just string you along and get you to buy a bunch of stuff and lead you nowhere.
So was their main program learning how to have an affiliate business? Is that what they were selling, was how to be an affiliate?
We didn't really even get that far. I think it was they had a bunch of affiliate programs they were going to push to you because it sounded like they didn't really have anything of their own to sell. So they were probably going to sell you up into some high-end coaching program, and who knows if the coaches even know what they're doing. So pretty shady.
Looks like we need another Horowitz to expose some of that stuff.
Yeah, that would actually not be a bad idea.
I think we've talked about it a couple of times.
Yeah, I have a domain somewhere. What's that TV show, the Mythbusters? Is that what it is? I actually bought the domain name eMythbusters.
Oh, okay.
So I'm pretty sure I still own that. I bought that years and years ago, and I was going to do that because, when I was back in the beginning, I was buying everybody's everything just to test it so I could report back to the Dominator Club of, what was actually working and what wasn't. I mean, I blew through thousands and thousands of dollars worth of products that were just absolute garbage. And that's when I bought that domain. I'm like, I ought to do an eMythbuster here and just expose these guys for what they are. Because there was probably 1 out of 20. There's probably 1 out of 20 that I would buy and it actually did what it said it was going to do or did something of value.
We're off track.
So, all right. So anyway, let's get back to the strategy. And here's something that I've got this from several people that are running through the accountability and actually following the program. And what's happening is a lot of people are getting stuck in analysis. And the reason that they get stuck in analysis is because, you know how when you start something new, it's a little uncomfortable? It was hard to get them to even start analysis because it was uncomfortable, but now they're comfortable with it. And getting them to move to the next step is going to take them outside of their comfort zone, because now they're going to have to create. And I think that's part of the issue, is they're stuck in that comfort zone. And I got to tell you, you know, there's actually a name for this that has been going around, analysis paralysis, that keeps you from moving forward. The analysis is absolutely critical. It's absolutely critical that you do a certain amount of analysis, but you only need a certain amount. You don't need to know everything to move forward. And I see some people that are kind of stuck there. They like get far enough and then they go back, and then they get far enough and they go back. And it's kind of this cyclical thing that's, you know, it's kind of like a vortex. It keeps sucking you back in. And the key is to make mistakes so you can learn. So you got to move forward. You know, it's like if you don't make mistakes, like look at our funnel. We just put our funnel out. I went through the copy with you guys, you know, a couple weeks back. We put it out. It was our best guess based on our initial analysis, and we were wrong. We only got a 5% click-through ratio. So what that told us was we didn't have the message to the market right. And when we went back and looked, it was like we were too closely copying things that have already been done for too long. So the whole promise that we were making, it's not believable. The market doesn't believe it. The other thing was we were trying to push them into a webinar, which is too big of a commitment. I thought right out of the gate, I thought, let's push them right to the webinar. You know, Brian recommended against it, and I wanted to try it anyway, and he had the better outlook on it. You know, we should have gone his direction. But I thought, well, let's speed the process up. Let's get them right to the webinar. And we only got a 5% click-through ratio. So had I not moved forward and made that mistake, I wouldn't be able to correct it and move forward to make, you know, the next thing, another try at it. So maybe I'll make another mistake. But it's like, if you're going to make a mistake, make it quick. Make it quick and get on to the next thing. Because eventually you're going to find the right combination to open up the lock. So the faster that we do that, and if you're stuck in analysis, you're never going to make that first mistake. You know, it's that uncomfortable, you're afraid to make a mistake. And if you're in that, that's just going to keep you paralyzed. So you don't have to blow a lot of money on it. You know, we were only blowing maybe $20 a day, you know, and we only had to run it out a few days, so we got enough numbers to say, hey, this is only getting a 5% click-through ratio. That tells us right away our message is wrong. We had the right market, but the message, they've already heard it and they don't buy it. So we need to take a step back. We need to make a new message, and we need to do that. So what we're doing now, we're converting that over, and we're going to do what Brian had recommended in the beginning, is to do a lead magnet that auto-enrolls them for the webinar. So we're going to give them the client getting system blueprint. The predictable client getting system blueprint is a PDF. So it's a micro commitment. All they're doing is putting their name and email address in to get the PDF. When we deliver the PDF on the thank you page, we're going to say, here's the PDF. Go ahead and click here to download it. It's full of valuable information, but it's going to take an interpreter for you to understand the language. So we've auto-enrolled you in our next webinar so we can walk you through how to get the most out of it. And then I think we don't have to get them to click to sign up for a webinar. They're already signed up for it. Then we just need to use a campaign to get them to show up. We need an indoctrination campaign to get them to show up to the webinar. And doing that is pretty easy. You basically just send them 3 little short videos, one at a time, one each day for 3 days, giving them a piece of what they're going to learn in the webinar. And what that does is that gets them to know you, it gets them to like you and trust you along the way, and it gets them to show up because they're invested now. They want what's in the webinar. They want to understand how to make that blueprint work for them. They can see the value in it. They just need to go to the webinar to extract the value out of it. So that's going to be our next shot. And it might be a winner and it might be a mistake, but it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, we need to make it. So we know. If we don't take the next step, we don't know and we're in the dark. You know, I want to know every step of the way, have we done the right thing or not? And if we haven't, we can correct it. So no, I really doubt anybody is going to hit a home run marketing campaign right out of the gate. No matter how good you are at the analysis, no matter how good you are at the copy, it's going to take some testing to get it right. And even if you do get it right and you get good numbers right out of the gate, which is possible, you can always improve upon it. You can always split test. You can always get better results. And once you get results you're comfortable with and you know, hey, I can put $1 in and I can get $2 back, or I can get $1.50 back, or whatever it is that is your comfort zone, then you can scale up your campaign. That's where the real magic happens. That's where you can scale it up and live that life that you penciled out in the freedom formula.
What do you feel, John, is you were 5% with your first ad? What number do you want to see for the second one?
I want to see at least like a 20% click-through ratio. 5% was just not going to do it. You know, because if you look at the costs of how much it costs to get that many people just to get clicks, not even to get them signed up, you know, your cost for a sign up can be astronomical at that point. So by getting a 20% click-through ratio, basically I've cut my advertising by 75%. So now I have a much better chance of getting enough people to sign up for the webinar to get somebody to convert and make it worthwhile. That makes sense? It's really all about the math. It's all about the numbers at the end of you know, what you can convert, what it's going to cost you. And that's, you know, that's what you're looking for. That's getting those numbers. Once you have those numbers, then, you know, your freedom formula, you can just plug in the numbers and say, how many do I have to sell? You know, when you know the profit of the product and you know the cost that it's going to take to acquire a customer, and you know the profit left over, you take that profit number and divide that into what you need to live your ideal lifestyle, and that's how many units that you have to move. So it really is math. Any business it comes down to the bottom line is numbers. There's people.
Okay. I have a question. Can we set up a time where we can do an example like you were showing Gay and I yesterday about how to look at these ads for the hook, the primary market, all the terminology that we weren't grasping by watching the video?
Yeah, we can do that.
Because I'm sure there's probably more than just her and I that might have difficulties in this section. Yeah,
just being able to identify when you're looking at a landing page or you're looking at an ad, to me, it's very easy to pluck out, you know, what is the big idea? What's the unique mechanism? What's the headline? What's the call to action? But I think that's something that is going to take a little work on some of you to actually get that and be able to decipher it. So next week is our analysis call. So I think that would be a perfect time to do that and run through some examples. As far as like a strategy for finding out, you know, what people are doing in Facebook is like a fairly good place to advertise for a lot of different people, for a lot of different things. And one of the things that I didn't know about that actually I knew, but I never really thought to bring it out, is when you see an ad in your feed, like if you're looking at your Facebook page and you see an ad, or even if you're on your phone and you're scrolling through Facebook, any advertisement that comes up, generally you'll know it's an ad if there's a button on the bottom that says more info or any kind of a call to action button. Generally that's an ad. Up at the very top right corner, there's 3 little dots, like for a more menu. When you click that more menu, it's going to roll out a menu for you. And one of the selections on that menu is, why am I seeing this ad? And when you click on the why am I seeing this ad, it shows you their targeting. It shows you who their audience targeting is in Facebook, which is really nice. So it'll tell you, like, this person, you're seeing this ad because this person is targeting people that are interested in real estate that are aged from 20 to 35 or whatever it may be. But it will tell you specifically why you're seeing it, which is pretty cool. So if you see a competitor's ad running in Facebook, you can tell who they're targeting. And you know, that to me is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool trick. And it's a free trick. You don't need any tools for it. It's just, all you do is click, 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 and you got their audience. Now, be careful when you're looking at competitors, because I've looked at a number of those in the last couple of days, and most of the ones I looked at don't know what they're doing. They're wasting money. They're targeting way too big of an audience. And you want to be careful of that. So what you're looking for in the targeting is you're looking for possibly the age group they're looking at. You're looking for the region. If they're looking for people in just, you know, California versus a zip code versus the US versus worldwide, how big of an audience are they looking for? Are they looking for male or female? And sometimes it won't say that. If they haven't selected male or female, it just won't say anything about gender. It's only going to reveal what their targeting is. But that's the kind of stuff you look for. Look for all the different triggers for why that ad shows. And then you pretty much have a great idea of what their audience is.
Hey, John, are you considering some supplemental videos, like when Barb and Gay, you know, have questions about some of those areas that you're able to talk them through? Would some, I know you were working hard to get through all the videos to get it done, but maybe there'll be some notes you want to take on supplemental videos to help explain it a little more?
Yeah, and here's something. I think I might have a good solution for that. You know, you were talking about having a movie night where, you know, let's say on a Monday night or whatever it may be, we all get together and we all watch one of the videos, and then at the end of it, discuss that. What I could do when we do the discussion of it, it'll be like a Q&A, answering anybody's questions. I can record that and put that right next to the video in the Act section, and it's like, here's the video, here's the Q&A that went on after the video.
Perfect.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we'll do, and all we need now is participation. We just need, but we'll know, hey, we'll know they watched the video because they watched it with us.
Exactly.
And then I just won't record the portion of them watching the video because there's no need to do that. The video is already in the members area. And then once the video ends, I'll start the recording. We'll open up a Q&A, and then that Q&A just goes with that video. So after they watch the video, then they can watch the Q&A, and hopefully it will answer all their questions. The only thing we need is a fair number of people with a diverse background to be looking at these, so we get all of the questions. You know, we want people that are just absolutely new to internet marketing. We want people that have had some experience. We want all the questions. Like some of you know what questions to ask, even though you already know the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'll need you to do. I'll need you to ask the questions that those don't know to ask.
Mm-hmm. How many people have actually purchased ACT now, John?
Oh, there's about 200 in there. Most of them were Dominator members that got it as an add-on. They got it for being with me for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
As far as actually purchased, I'm not really sure. There's probably about 75 maybe have actually purchased at this point, and I really haven't gone out to any great length to try and sell it yet at this point.
Right.
So our current marketing that we're creating right now is really going to be the first point where we're really going to open it up to the world. It's so far it's only been available to people like in Craig's group,
Mm-hmm.
and people that have affiliated it through there. So it really hasn't been opened up to a very big audience yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the first round we had, what do we have, about 65 people in the first round that went through it, and those were people that I had sold through my membership, my base, and got them to come out because I wanted to run everybody through and see what was going to happen. And then we created the beta group after that, did extensive testing on what it was going to take to get everybody to be able to do it. And now here we are, we're ready to sell it. But I do want to know that everyone, once they get into it, they don't get stuck. And I think that Q&A session is probably going to be a pretty good thing to help prevent that. Because there is so many little things, that I've worked with you guys along the way outside of that training that you guys have an advantage over someone new coming in for the first time. So
I know that was hard, when we were deciding, is that part of ACT or not? And I kept coming back to answer as much as we can for people, because the more successful they are, the more successful you are.
yeah.
And when people are confused, they don't recommend and they stop and,
Yeah, it's just, I think with the Q&A, I think we're going to need to keep it specific to that module, though. I don't have, like the calls, the weekly calls and all that, I go all over the place with those. Those are open to any question you got on anything.
Well, and that might help people get on the calls, on the Thursday call too, where you can say, we can't go into that today, but if you bring that to me Thursday or put it in the forum, I don't know how much people are even using the forum, but, maybe we can start getting people even to do that.
Yeah. Well, once we get the community active, when I flow 300, 400, 500 new members into the ACT program, then things are going to start happening. Yeah. Right now, of the 200, probably half of them, more than half of them were gifted it, and they may or may not have even wanted it to begin with. So we don't have a lot of activity, because of that. When you look at the numbers, that's why the activity is so low. And then the majority of you guys that are active, I've been working with you for some time, and you've gotten everything outside of the forums. But as the group grows and it requires more attention, I think the forums will get more active. Because I've seen that with the SEO too. When I had just specifically an SEO forum, when the group had 800 people in it, that forum was pretty active. I was in there almost every day answering questions in the forum. And then I had plenty of material to talk about on the calls. It was like I wasn't even going to get through it all. And, we'd have to open it up and have anybody that had new questions outside of what was in the forum. So we'll get to that, as soon as we get a fair number of, members through the door.
So, John, I just want to double check something. So the next call for next week, we're going to go through all 4 pages of how to do the campaign analysis step by step and get the understanding of how to break it down.
Yeah, that'll be an analysis call, so we can do that.
So we can, in your email, when you remind everybody, we can tell them in the email, this is the topic. So if you're there, almost there, this is the best time to get on.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay,
they can also watch the recording too.
All right. I'm just hoping to get them on there to do it with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think where I'm more interested in getting them on is, like that Monday movie night.
I'm with you on that, but I'm
because that's
going to make sure we get this clarified, because that's going to help me.
All righty then.
Okay.
So what night do you guys think, if we're going to do a movie night, what night should it be?
I think Monday movie night sounds good, and you get people right at the beginning of the week, and then they can follow up on Thursday if they have questions. So it kind of splits the week up for them. And, the after dinner time, I think, I like those Zoom calls that were 7 or 8 because, my day was pretty done, and I could always make the time that time of night.
Okay.
All
right. Well, we can do that. I think most of us are on the West Coast. We might have a few East Coasters, but and then Ted, that's earlier for him. He's Hawaiian time. So
I forget. Okay.
So that should work. So okay, yeah, I'm up for that. So we can start that up Monday if you want. How many videos do you think we should attack when we do that? Just one? Because that's a lot of Mondays.
Well, my thought is if it's not long, people might tend to participate more.
Got it. Okay.
And if it goes into an hour or longer, then they're going to be like, I don't have time for that. If they know it's maybe 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, I'm thinking they'll chime in every Monday for that.
Why don't we shoot for 30 minutes?
Just tell them it'll be, maybe there'll be 2.
Minutes.
If there's two videos that are 10 minutes, just go ahead and do those 2 10-minute videos.
Yep.
And then leave 10 minutes for Q&A.
Yeah, I guess we can just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Or maybe, like you said, maybe we can play 2 videos and then do Q&A for both of them. So
Are you
tightly related?
Excuse me. Are you open to using other tools?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
How can we put a suggestion in?
If we want to use another tool, it would just require, another training video module. It's not a big deal. We can always plug in more modules.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have a tool in mind, Ted, just shoot me an email. Show me what it is, what it does, and where you think it'll fit. And
okay.
if it makes sense, I'm all for anything.
Well, I've got 3 or 4 for you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Ted is awesome. He is a research mongrel.
Well, I've often thought that you need more videos in the course. So what you're talking about is perfect.
Yeah, well, I think the Q&A stuff, definitely. There's a few, we've been making notes kind of along the way as people have been going through it for little supplemental videos that I need to make and plug in. And I know one for sure that I need is a welcome video. For new people that come in, just to welcome them in, kind of show them the lay of the land and give them that first action step of here's what you want to do first.
Yep.
Set the expectation.
Yeah. Set the expectation for this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a new way of life for you.
I think also teaching them how Basecamp works.
Yes.
Yeah.
How to.
We can actually, at first I only offered Basecamp to you guys, anybody that was in the Apprentice program, but we have an unlimited account with Basecamp, so it doesn't cost me any more to put more people into it. And that might be something where we can sell just an accountability program, not the full apprentice program, but just an accountability, and open that up to the accountability coaches to make, make a few bucks for keeping people accountable. So that might be a good idea. I've been thinking this week about sending an email out to everybody that has access to ACT, just to kind of re-spur them and see if we can get more people involved. And I think this Monday night movie night might be a good way to do that. I think
Hey, when your accountability coach for a few people, are they moving through it? Are they doing a good job?
Well, let's see. One of them got stuck and took a full-time job. So she's now trying to figure out her timing to get back into it. And then the other one is dealing with writing a book and dealing with her elderly mother. And she put it on pause for like a month. I was supposed to be like 2 weeks, checked back in with her, and she said, give me 2 more weeks. So it's kind of like, okay. So I'm still encouraging her and trying to show her what's going. She's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So it's just a matter of, at this point, still bugging them, kind of saying, we're still here. We haven't forgot about you. How is things? Showing that we care. Asking basic questions. And then I'm keeping Barb informed on that also, so she knows what's going on.
Yeah, and
So I found it interesting. Those that paid for it are like, life gets in the way sometimes too, and I understand that. I mean, I'm working on it too. Sometimes at midnight I'm working on it.
yeah, life does become a bit unpredictable when you have the aging parents kind of creeping up there, but that can throw you for a loop. So
Yeah, you guys know about that one.
yeah, we've been through and still going through. So we got one to go. That's a bad way to put that, huh? 3 down, 1 to go.
Yeah.
Because you know what that means.
What's that?
That means you know what that means.
Oh, yeah, I do. That means I'm next.
That's the scary thought about it.
Yeah, it is. It keeps reminding us how old we are. That's funny. I don't think of myself as being as the age that I actually am, but then I hit the floor and I feel it. I'm like, oh.
None of us do.
Oh man.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a strategy question here.
Okay, awesome.
So I went on to Theme Forest and I picked a website, theme, and so Tommy asked me to send it to him, but I couldn't. When I tried to send him the download, it wouldn't go through. But I'm like, how do I get my theme now onto my healseries.com and start putting in my pieces from my CherylHensel.com into my theme.com?
Gotcha. So you want to install the theme?
Yes.
Okay. So a theme really is, if you download the theme, you'll get a zip file.
Yes.
And then you can send him the zip file, and then he can install it for you.
They wouldn't let me. They blocked it.
They blocked the download?
They blocked me attaching the zip drive to him.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so your email blocked you.
Yes.
Okay. If that's the case, do you have a Dropbox account?
Yes.
Just load it up in Dropbox and send him an invite to that folder.
Okay. I'll figure that out.
Yeah, if you ever have files that are too big, it's probably because it was too big.
Oh, okay.
Because sometimes the themes will have a lot of images included in them. So the zip file was probably just too big to email.
Okay.
Different email providers have different restrictions of how big a file you can send.
So when I'm doing my trigger tracker lead and my itty bitty lead, those are through ClickFunnels.
It depends. You could have landing pages on your regular site as well.
Okay.
Because ClickFunnels makes it really easy to make landing pages because it makes it easy to put counters and pop-up windows and all of that. So I would encourage you to use ClickFunnels to create those because it makes it so easy.
Okay.
And then what you can do is when you go to publish in ClickFunnels, you can publish an HTML page and just have that loaded on your website.
Oh.
And then that way you've got a URL, you can go to Facebook and you can promote that URL and it works beautifully. That's what I'm doing. Like if you go onto the Internet Dominator's site and you click on the ACT program, it goes to our ClickFunnels landing page, but it says internetdominators.com/webinar.html or webinar registration, whatever it is. That's a ClickFunnels page. It's just we're hosting the frame on our site. It's pulling all the information in from ClickFunnels.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's the easiest way to do it, and I love that way because that just makes it so easy for us to install the pages. We just upload the page to our website, and away we go.
And you make all your pages through ClickFunnels and just upload everything.
Yeah, all the pages that are landing pages.
Okay.
Yeah, the Internet Dominator's site is not built in ClickFunnels, just these landing pages. But if you go to dominatorfunnels.com, that is a site that we created for the Done For You service. And that entire site is done in ClickFunnels. The whole shoot and match, everything.
Well, I know that you already have your membership and know how to do all that, but ClickFunnels has a membership program that you can build in it. If there's a newbie like me, would you say go through the ClickFunnels membership way of doing it?
I don't really know much about it because I haven't done it, but I would say that probably would be your best bet because it would integrate everything for you and it would make it, seamless.
Okay.
Like with mine, I have my membership site running in a member, which runs on the Internet Dominator site. So what I do is I just export the buttons, the buy buttons, and then I'll put those into ClickFunnels. So when it's time to click to make the purchase, they're going over to a member and actually making the purchase through there.
Okay.
And since I've got the pages on Internet Dominators, it looks like the same URL, so it's not confusing and they don't think, oh, I'm getting scammed by somebody.
Right.
It's all there. And then that also keeps your privacy policies unique or not unique, but it keeps them all in check. Because if you're doing landing pages on ClickFunnels and you're using other domains, you want to make sure that you've got the right proper policies pages in there. You have to have privacy policies, you have to have terms of service, you have to have earnings disclaimers, you have to have it's some kind of an admission if there's any kind of advertising in there, if there's any testimonials.
And that's FTC Guardian?
Yeah, that's where I get mine. So one of the things, what I've done with FTC Guardian, since I didn't want to make a bunch of different files in there, I just made one file and then I name every web property that I own in there. So when it says, the owner is my master corporation, which is LimboVision Inc., and then I put AKA Internet Dominators, DBA Internet Dominators, so now the two are synonymous. And then when it lists off the website that this is governing, I list all the different websites that are connected to. So I only had to make one set of policies in FTC Guardian, and it covers all of my web properties. If you're not going to do that and you create a new web property, you really should create, different policies for that web property. But I just wanted it simple, so I just made one that covers them all.
Okay.
I like simplicity.
Me too. I'm not sure that sounds simple, but I need to do it. So I'll go in and see if I can figure out. I kind of understand what you mean by limbo vision and you're doing business as internet dominator. I'm kind of like, well, what am I? And maybe that's more of an accountant.
If you're, no, it's really easy. If you're a sole proprietor, it's just your name.
Okay.
You're doing business as Cheryl Hensel.
Okay.
So
Heal
that's,
series and the rest of that doesn't need to be mentioned then?
what's that?
Heal series, if that's like the business I'm trying to get going.
It's how you collect money.
Okay.
So if you're, let's say you're Cheryl Hensel, that's your sole proprietor, but you might have a DBA. That's the Heal series.
Okay.
And if people are writing checks or, sending money to the Heal series, then that's a DBA. And even your bank is going to require a DBA for you to cash those checks.
Right.
Or accept that money. So that's a pretty easy, self-explanatory way to know what the company is.
Okay.
If it's sole proprietor, it's you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're taking money under a different name and it's not really a corporation or an LLC, then that's a DBA. So you need to list those. So if that were the case, you would say doing business as Cheryl Hensel, DBA Healing Series.
Okay.
That way you're covered for both of them. And you could put a comma and you can put as many of those as you want. And then when it says, where you're doing business online, that's where you put your URL, your domain name. And if you've got more than one domain name, you can just list them out. So it covers all of these web properties. Because sometimes, you'll have your mailing list on Aweber. So you might want to list that.
So when you just did your internet, what did you just do? Dominator funnels.
Uh-huh.
Did you have to add that to your FTC?
Yep.
Okay.
The cool thing about FTC Guardian is when you go back in and you edit your file, it automatically updates all your websites.
Oh, nice.
Because when you put the FTC Guardian on your website, you're dropping a widget on there that's pulling the information down from FTC Guardian. So then you don't have to go and update all those pages.
Oh.
You just know when you update it on their site, it populates everywhere you got it. That's why I love it. It really makes life simple, and you don't have to worry about, did I get everything done?
Right.
All you have to do is do it one spot, and it's as long as you are consistent and you put the widgets on everything you make, when you make an adjustment, it's all done. Pretty simple.
And everything you do from here on out that's part of this, you're making sure has that, even if any online business needs to have FTC Guardian?
Pretty much, yeah. If you collect email addresses, you need it. If you accept money online, you need it. And that's going to cover just about everybody.
Yeah, okay.
So I can't really think of an online business unless it was just like a business card website with a phone number that you wouldn't necessarily need it.
I think that's something that early on, I'm trying to think of when FTC Guardian was in your videos, but that might be something that you say, here's the cost of doing business and the things you will want to have going for you right away.
Yeah.
Like, get the ClickFunnels, get the FTC, get, Aweber, whatever. And here's why. I would just right off the bat maybe do a video on that, because
that might be a good intro video. Talking about needing that intro video, so that would be a good spot to put that.
Because I don't know how many of us that have been through this with you have even gotten FTC Guardian yet. I mean, I haven't. I'm not. You do? I'm not going yet, but good job, Gwen. Um, Justin, do you have FTC Guardian? Is Justin? Maybe Justin's just hanging out.
Well, I'll unmute him there.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I don't have FTC Guardian now. So I should probably have FTC Guardian, but I don't.
Yeah, it's really nasty if you don't have it and they come after you. It can be ugly. I mean, when to give you an idea of what would happen, and it doesn't matter if you did anything right or wrong. That makes no difference whatsoever. If they decide that you've done something wrong, it's your job to prove your innocence. You're not innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent with these guys. And they can freeze your bank accounts. They can lock up all of your assets, and they can do it in a snap. And it's locked up until you clear yourself. And it's, talk about a kangaroo court. There's no jurisdiction over it. Whatever they decide, that's it, and there's no appealing. I mean, it's like the most corrupt thing you've ever heard of. It's nasty. So you want to, for a couple $100 to be able to just prevent that is so worthwhile.
I would definitely get that in the beginning of your training.
Yeah.
Because that can be overlooked really easy in the flow of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing, I think I talked about this on the call. I don't know if I shared it with you guys in the Apprentice program, but also ADA compliancy. There's a new, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's the American Disabilities Act. And back in the very beginning, when people were starting to do websites, that was one of the things that Yahoo had as a criteria of a solid structure for a good website, was to be ADA compliant. And really, to be ADA compliant, all you have to do is have alt tags in your images for the most part. And if you don't put alt tags in your images, then you're not ADA compliant. And they're actually going after manufacturers now. Like if you're a manufacturer selling online, and you're like a big e-commerce store, and you don't have alt tags in your images, they're going after them and suing them. Because it's, they feel it's discrimination against the blind. And it's another thing, it's one of those kangaroo courts that if they decide that you're guilty, you're going to get nailed. Fortunately, with them, it's just a fine, I believe. But depending on the size of your business, that's probably going to depend on the size of the fine. And it's going to hurt. It's not going to be a bee sting. It's going to be a wasp.
Is that something you can YouTube how to do, an alt tag? What's an alt tag?
An alt tag is just a tag for an image that, like if you're on a website and you roll your mouse over an image, a little text will pop up that says what the image is. If you don't have an alt tag, when you roll over the image, nothing will happen. And for a blind person, that's how they see. So that text that you put in the image of description of what the image is, that's how a blind person can see your website. So any images that you have, they should be able to roll over in it, and their reader should be able to read it to them of what that image is. And even the most simple of stuff, like your logo. Like when you roll over my logo, it'll say Internet Dominator logo. That's all it has to be. It's just a description of the image. They just can't be blank. So alt tags back at the beginning were really important because it was a way to stuff keywords into your website. And it was one of the black hat tricks that we used to, monopolize search listings. I actually made, this is kind of a funny story, I actually made a 1x1 pixel GIF that was transparent, and I called it the Phantom. And it was transparent, so you could drop it anywhere on a website and you couldn't see it. And it was 1x1 pixel, so your chances of rolling over it and hitting it were slim to none. and I could load it with hundreds of keywords. And I used to do that on a regular basis. And it was funny because I created that and called it the Phantom GIF. And I still see people today using the Phantom GIF for that very purpose, even though it doesn't work anymore. Cracks me up. So that's a classic. All right. So any other strategic things we want to cover here? All right. And I apologize for the moving it up a day. I just got to this week and I realized, oh, Thursday is going to be tough to try and orchestrate this during Craig's event. So figured we'd be better off on Wednesday. So I'll put a message out for everybody and let them know, like, what do you think, like 7 o'clock Monday night, 8 o'clock? What are you thinking? Is 7 cool? That's kind of like after dinner and before family time, I guess.
What time did you guys do the calls when you were first starting the program? Was it 8?
7.
Oh, it's 7?
Yeah. I think that would give people on the other coast 10 o'clock's not totally unreasonable. If they could stay up at 10, so maybe 7 would be best.
So, John, these are just structured like a Zoom call? You're just doing like, we're watching them online and then doing a Q&A after?
Yeah, we'll do a Zoom call. We'll let everybody watch the video, and then we'll just do, a Q&A. I won't record the Zoom call in the beginning. I'll just turn the recording on for the Q&A.
Yep.
And then we'll
got to remember to hit that record button.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
We'll take that recording and I'll just put it up right next to the video in the members area. So that way people coming in later, they can see the video and then they can see the Q&A and see all the questions that got asked and answered.
Okay, cool. That sounds great.
Yeah, and I actually think the Q&A may in many cases be longer than the videos. And that's perfectly okay. That's absolutely fine. Because I think there's a lot of people that once they dig in, they really want more information. I wanted to keep the videos very short and concise to get the points across and let somebody, laser focus through the ACT program. But I do think there's a lot more that is wanted and desired, once people get into it.
Yep.
So, John, I have an unrelated question.
Okay.
On your landing page, excuse me, you're talking about a predictable client getting system.
Yes.
Is this one of many topics you're going to be using as landing pages?
Yeah, that's just one headline that we came up with. So there's going to be many. In fact, one of the ones that I'm going to target is making the claim that ClickFunnels isn't going to make you a dime without a strategy behind it. And then I'll lead them into a strategy session, and then I'll lead them into the webinar, and then I'll introduce them to ACT. So that will be another one. There'll be an identical one to that with, I almost said Confusionsoft there, with Infusionsoft. Because, anybody that's bought Infusionsoft or ACT is fairly serious about making money with their business online. Whether they have the wherewithal to do it and take it to the next step and actually accomplish that is probably 1 in 1,000, realistically. I mean, when you look at the number of ClickFunnels accounts versus the number of people that they're spouting off that are making really good money on it, it's less than 1 in 1,000. They have a lot of accounts set up. And I would say Infusionsoft is very much the same. They do have some very, very successful businesses that are using Infusionsoft for what it's made for, and they're killing it. They're absolutely killing it. Same thing with ClickFunnels, but for the 999 other people, that statement is absolutely true. They're not going to make a dime with that program unless they have a solid strategy behind it. And that's where ACT comes in. So I think those are two really good target markets for us.
John, do you think that if you mention, you might be a solopreneur, but you don't have to go it alone? We have a whole program and a team that can help you. Is that something that's appealing to people, to know there's accountability coaches and training? And
I think that would be very good for new business owners.
mm-hmm.
I think for the audience of like new business owners, I think that would be a very attractive offer. I think definitely. There's a lot of different ways that ACT could be positioned and sold. So the one, the predictable client getting system, that was just our first attempt. So that's by no means the end of the rainbow. That was just the first thing we threw to the wall to see if we could get spaghetti to stick.
Do you have anybody else doing ACT funnels other than you?
So far, I'm the only one that I know of that's actively putting it out there.
So I've brought this up before, but I don't think I'm describing it right. Is there any way that we could give them the download of the PDF from our page and send them to you for the video series?
Yeah.
I say that because they're opting in for me, but when I send them to you, they already have to opt in again.
Okay.
So it's like 2 opt-ins.
If we're going to auto opt them into the webinar, it's kind of hard to do that. If you want to have them, like for me, there's no reason that I wouldn't want you to just, give them the download. But you got to figure out how are you going to get them from the download through your affiliate link. That's going to be that's the only challenge to that. And if you've got that figured out, then I have no problem with it.
Well, my download button will have the affiliate link.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I misstated it. Once they download the PDF from me,
yeah,
and you have a video series set up, I'll give them the link, my affiliate link with the video series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I have no problem with that at all. I actually encourage, that's the right way to do affiliate marketing, is to build your list.
Right.
So absolutely, if you just have to have your mousetrap set up. I know a lot of people that are in ACT, they're not really doing affiliate marketing, but they want to make the affiliate sales for ACT. Right. So we're setting up automated systems for them to do that. But by all means, if you want to build a mailing list, for sure, you can use, anything we've got. You can use any of the PDFs or any of the infographics and stuff that we make.
Well, they're only set up as affiliate links, so.
All you'd have to do is just take the PDF yourself, and then you're going to download that to them when they log into you.
So I log in to you to get the PDF.
Yeah, or I can send it to you. What you also might want to do is you might want to set up a URL on the end of the PDF that sends them through your affiliate link.
To you?
Yeah. So
okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Sue just did this. She bought a domain that's it's called makemoneywhileisleep.com, and it's not really a website. It's just a pass through to the affiliate link to sell ACT. So at the end of her webinar, she'll just send people to makemoneywhileisleep.com. And then they go through that, they hit that site, and they don't really hit the site, they just go right through to the order page for ACT. And you can do that. You don't have to have a website built. All you have to do is buy a domain name and forward it. And
so what is her lead to that? What is?
Well, you do that when you buy your domain, they offer you that.
Yeah, well, Sue specifically has a webinar. We took one of my generic webinars and then we recorded a front end and a back end with her and I. She was like doing an interview with me. And then at the end of the interview, then we rolled the standard webinar. And then at the end of the webinar, we cut back to the two of us and said, what'd you guys think of that? Wasn't that awesome? And then she went back and forth about, you know, basically getting them to go to her site, that makemoneywhileisleep.com.
So she is selling ACT then.
She's getting set up to. I don't think she's really done anything with it yet. I just got that video over to her, I think yesterday.
Is she, so she's gone through and done ACT and done the videos and everything then?
No.
No, she just wants to sell it. I don't think she's wanting to go through and like build funnels. She's got other marketing venues to sell it through, which, you know, that's fine. However, if you can get traffic in other ways that is a match and send it through,
that's just called domain forwarding.
Yeah. A piece of cake. That a lot of affiliate marketers do that. They'll create a website for each different thing that they want to promote, and they say, just go to my site, .com.
Yeah, I do that with GoDaddy.
Yeah, it's really easy to do.
Yeah, John, Casey Eberhardt, he does some Zoom calls like you, but he bought his own domain, and you type in, I forget what it is, but you type it in and it goes straight to his Zoom link. So he forwards it for anyone when he does group calls. He just tells people to go to that link.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. That's awesome. You could do that for anything, really, for a or a registration.
Yeah, it's
easy.
A couple clicks.
That's awesome. You could also do that for your calendar link too.
Did you go through that place card, YouTube place card technique?
No, I've got it up in my web browser, and I keep wanting to look at it, and then other things keep jumping in my way.
Yeah, I just wondering what you thought about it.
Yeah, no, I'll try and take a look at it tonight, because I know I've got it up on 3 different computers, so it's on my to-do list for sure. So, all right, guys. Anything else before we wrap up and get on to our week here? All right. Well, good deal. We'll be on next week, and we'll do the analysis, and we'll kind of go through some of the steps, especially the competitor analysis, because I think some people are kind of stuck on that one, and we'll see if we can't clear it up. So have a great week, guys. If there's anything, just let me know between now and then. And if not, we'll see you on next week's call.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.